Determining the number of classes. Our first step is to create an ordered array with the data. So we need to find out how much data we have and the maximum and minimum data values. So our first step will be to sort our data. So let's select it. Sort from smallest to largest because we like an ordered array. Okay. Well, we can see our minimum value is $82. Our data set is not very large, so we can scroll down to the bottom to see what our maximum value is, but I'd like to show you another way so that's more efficient because your data sets might be very large. So what you would do is go to Data, Data Analysis, and Descriptive Statistics. Click OK. Our input range would be our data. Okay, so and we've included labels. And check off Summary Statistics. And it will go to a new worksheet page, and that's fine. Okay. Okay, so here we have our descriptive statistics. We have our mean, median, standard deviation, sample variance, but we have our range. And we have our minimum and maximum. So our minimum was $82 and our maximum is at $213. And we have 50 data values total. This count does our total data values. So we have 50. Okay. Next, our range is calculated by subtracting the max and min. And let's show you exactly. So our range is calculated by subtracting the lowest data value from the highest data value. So our range is $131. And we saw that from our Excel descriptive statistics run. But I just wanted to explain to you how that works, how that would be calculated if you had to do it yourself. Next, we need to determine the class width. The class width is determined by subtracting the first upper class limit from the second upper class limit. We were given these two upper class limits in the problem text. So our class width is $20. We need the class width in order to determine the subsequent upper class limits. We also need the class width to help us determine how many classes we should have for our data set. So how many classes should we have for our data set? It depends on whether you have a small or large data set. And you don't want so few classes. You don't want less than 5 really. And you don't want more than 15 or 20 classes. That's getting excessive. So our class width equals our range divided by our number of classes. So if we do some algebra, we can find, because we're trying to determine the number of classes. So by doing some algebra on that formula, we can see that the number of classes equals the range divided by the class width. So we have our range of $131. We've calculated our class width of $20. So we have approximately 6.5 classes. Well, you need to round this to a whole number. So we rounded to 7 because we can't have 6.5 classes. The number of classes we have must be a whole number, a whole countable number. So 7. 7 classes will be the right amount of classes for our data.